And yo, the Sports Bad Bros are back on a Thursday. The last time you saw us, it was Monday, the usual Monday to Thursday schedule, Monday and Thursday schedule. What more could happen between Monday and Thursday in the world of sports? We thought we would kind of go into the weekend just talking about the boxing match between, what was it, Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. That's what we're thinking about. But all these things have changed in the meantime. Yeah, there was some football talk. Yes, there's baseball still going on. Of course, the freaking NBA playoffs are here. But, God, what happened between the NBA playoffs and trying to find out what's going on in this NBA season when they get to the championship game next year? Something strange happened. Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia show up, sabotaging the sports week.
Man, when we ended the show on Monday, I never thought we'd be talking about Ryan Garcia today. I thought it would be mostly NBA playoffs,
Yep.
maybe some NFL talk, but Ryan Garcia steals the show again. If you haven't heard, if you're a boxing fan, or maybe if you're not a boxing fan, he tested positive for PED. I saw a video where he's saying he didn't take anything illegal, nothing knowingly. If you've watched our show, you know Coach Danny. Coach Danny says he's been around a lot of athletes.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen a lot of different athletes try different things, and 90% of them know what goes into their body, but sometimes some of them don't read the ingredients when people around them are giving them stuff. So that may be the case with Ryan. I don't know. Does he deserve the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. I do know that once upon a time he was in the same camp as Chitalo Alvarez, who got popped twice for illegal substances.
Tainted meat, bro.
So there's a correlation right there. Now, I'm not saying he definitely did it. They're going to the test sample B. Let's hope it comes back clean. But for now, if he actually did, he ain't shit.
Yep. And it takes away everything that happened with the Devin Haney fight. But the problem in that fight, even if you have a rematch, the damage is already done. And I mean the physical damage that Devin Haney had gone through in that fight. I don't give a damn how he says things or how he acts or what his father says even afterward. Man, there's a problem there when you take a beating that badly. We've seen fighters take beatings in the past, elite fighters, and they're never the same afterwards. Well, we already know with Meldrick Taylor and Chavez what happened with that fight. You know, it was almost immediate what happened with Meldrick Taylor. And then we also look at even when Marvin Hagler took on John the Beast Mugabe, it was such a brutal fight. It was the fight that Leonard was in the stands was saying, you know what? I want to fight Marvin Hagler now. After all this time, Marvin's been begging to fight him. He wanted to fight him now because he saw the slippage, and that damage couldn't have done anything more than make it even more in terms of slippage, and Leonard saw his opportunity to do it. You know, you go down a list. There's been quite a few fighters over the years that fought tough fights and just weren't the same from that fight on. Devin Haney, man, the beating that he had taken, the damage is done, in my opinion. Still something to be seen once he fights again and who he fights again, but I think it's already had happened.
Yeah, that's probably 100% true. We won't know until he gets in the ring again, but chances are he'll never be the same. He got buzzed in the first round. He was hurt badly. You know, it wasn't just like if he had gone down, it wouldn't have been a flash knockdown. Like, he was legitimately hurt, where he was not full. He did not have full capacity of his senses hurt. And then he got dropped 3 times after that. So he took a lot of punishment. And you mentioned John the Beast Mugabe versus Marvin Hagler, but you talked about Hagler's side. After that, Mugabe was never.
Mugabe was done. He was done.
He started getting knocked out by guys you would have never thought would knock him out.
Terry Norris took him out with 1 round at 154. Right. Took him out.
And then, you know, he probably hung on too long, like many fighters do also, but he was never the same. And it's unfortunate because if Ryan did take PEDs and he did that to Haney, man, I don't know, like, that's almost criminal.
That's criminal. Absolutely. You go in there in a game that's already dangerous, and then you have this real big advantage, not only the weight advantage, but the PED advantage. Man, that's sinister all the way if there's real truth to it. We have to wait around for the B sample, but Ryan's not sitting around waiting for a B sample. He's trying to defend himself right now. He got to the point to where he's kind of pushing it towards Hearn. He's claiming that Hearn has something to do with it. You know, he's yeah. I mean, man, boxing has been so dirty over the years.
Why would the rival? How could the rival promoter get PEDs into his body, or he's just saying the
no? He's saying that he's making the accusations, or he could have kind of fiddled with the urine to the point, or paid enough just to make it, make it a bad urinalysis. I mean, man, a lot of wacky things happen in the boxing game. I always call boxing a gutter sport. No, not a gutter sport in terms of the fighters. A gutter sport in terms of the low barrier of entry for the characters who have come through boxing for all of these decades. They make it the gutter sport. You know, the crocodiles, the guys that used to hang with Tyson, or even Bundini Brown with Muhammad Ali, scumbags like that coming to the business. Hey, King scumbag, Don King, he came into the business the way he had come into the business. He's done a lot of good. He's done a lot of bad, but he put on some great damn fights. But I mean, the barrier of entry was so easy for these people to get into the fight game. If you had a mouthpiece and some brains, you went far. And if you hurt people along the way, you weren't held accountable for
it. And if you think me saying Ryan Garcia ain't shit for doing this, but let me explain why. Trav mentioned the weight. He intentionally came in 3+ pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
It may not have been 3+ pounds because he had the bottle, he was wearing pants, he was wearing shoes, but he didn't try to make weight regardless of what the official weight was. So he didn't drain himself to get down to that weight limit. So then on top of that, he's cheating. So he's already coming in with the known advantage. He's purposely coming in not making weight with the mind frame of, well, I was dehydrated against Tank. That's not going to happen again this time. I'm coming in full strength. No fucking shit. You're on pads.
Now, we know that he's on pads. If that comes out, man, he's completely an absolute shitbag, and there should be something that happens to him. They should be able to take him to court based on just the brutality of the fight itself. You know, it took probably some years off of Devin Haney's career. That's a real, you could say that. That's a real possibility. But you know what? Going back to what we were talking about in the way that he had dominated the fight, we're just talking officially getting knocked down 2 or 3 times, possibly 4 times, let alone what the ref had helped out with other brutality that had taken place. He had gone down into that. He was hurt several times. The ref gave him every benefit of the doubt, Devin Haney, that is. And so he took more of a beating than even what we're talking about would happen officially.
That's true. And I think had Garcia been more aggressive throughout, instead of going in the corner, turning his back and doing things, making it seem like Haney was in the fight, they probably would have stopped it in the corner. Like if it would have just been a pronounced round after round beating.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to stop this. It's too much. But he would get dropped. Then Garcia would try to conserve energy, catch his breath, whatever you want to call it. And Haney would be doing decent work, jabs and body punches, and it didn't look as bad. But then as soon as Garcia decided to fight, he'd hit him, and there he's on. Yeah, he was on Queer Street all over again.
Now, over and over and over, he kept hurting Haney. But you know what? Going into the fight, we saw the 3.2 pounds that was announced on Friday during the weigh-in. At the same time, the Haney camp decided to still fight because of that 3.2 pounds. So they knew going in that part, I don't believe is cheating because, well, is Bill and Devin complicit in the cheating? If because of the 3.2 pounds? If so, they agreed. They took the money because of it.
They knew he wasn't going to make
knew everything.
They placed a bet.
And
they knew he wasn't making weight.
They were in boxing all along. They've been in boxing for a long time to know the differences in people make weight and people not making weight and what the repercussions can be. We saw Joey Gamache, for the people who watch boxing enough, going against Arturo Gatti, and the weight that he put on after the fight pretty much ruined Joey Gamache's career, concussed him, almost killed him pretty much in the ring, ended his career, his boxing career. That was his last fight. But, they took that knowing what the situation was with 3.2 pounds. The cheating now is what's going on right now. If the PEDs is really true, now that's where the cheating comes in. Patrick Bet-David interviewed Ryan Garcia after the fight. He came into his studio and they had their conversation and everybody was lauding him, and rightfully so, sight unseen, because no one knew what was going on like this. But he got the credit he deserved, and probably even more so. They were claiming that he's now the face of boxing instead of Canelo, just based on this one fight. And then, matter of fact, I saw a video just a little earlier today where Patrick Bet David said he's probably one of the greatest Mexicans. Why do these people who don't watch boxing or follow it make these claims? Get out of here, man. Have you heard of Salvador Sanchez? Julio Cesar, man, you can go down the whole damn list. Marquez, come on, it's a greater fighter than
you did a whole show on it, and
exactly.
neither one of those guys got consideration.
He wasn't even a thought,
right?
But the point is that he comes in, and if he failed the test, that's the cheating part of it, and he should get everything that he deserves in terms of the no contest. Then Devin's undefeated again. Or well, he gets the no contest too. Well, makes him undefeated again. He should be fined, and he should be barred from boxing for some time. Don't say a year, say 2 years.
Yeah, I was thinking, so what's the penalty? Because he made a lot of money off that fight.
Bro, that's dirty money too, coming from Vegas.
Exactly. So you have to level a hefty fine, in my opinion.
I wonder people in Vegas, the people who bet their money, I wonder if there's going to be some repercussions there. Maybe a book might want to sue him. This guy cheated.
I didn't think about that.
Hell, and that's crazy. Yo, a dude wins $12 million, man. This ain't no little parlay for 150. He's making a lot of money off that. And I'm hoping it's not true, but man, so often Vada was involved in this. So often that's what happens.
You want it to be a false positive, right?
Me too.
But I don't know, like, can we really reserve judgment? I mean, we can say,
in this day and age, come on, man.
We can say, well, let's wait and see on the second result, but we can still comment on this initial result, because if B comes back, we're just gonna say what we held back? No, we just say, well, we were proven right.
Yep, proven right. If it comes back and it was negative, well, whatever. But man, I just hope for his sake and the sake of boxing, man, and even Devin Haney. I didn't want him to lose. We picked him to win. And I never disliked Devin Haney, man. Bill is the one everybody's not liking all of a sudden these days. I hadn't liked him lead up to this fight even more than that, because he just changed from what I thought he was to what he is right now, from the first Kambosos fight to now. Completely gets the limelight and destroys it, and just completely a different guy, at least in my opinion. And, it just puts a bad black eye on boxing. And by the way, they take a urinalysis before and after the fight. You can't tell me that the urinalysis the results were already in from the first one before he got in the ring, and they still let him get in the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the timing of the test. People ask me, why didn't they test him before? I don't know VADA's testing regulations or their schedules, but if the fighters know when they're going to get tested, they can work around it.
Yeah, cycle out.
Yeah, I heard Paulie Malignaggi talking about it. Unless you're doing random testing frequently, it's hard to catch people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they know, and besides the advancements made on both sides, there's always that person or entity out there that is trying to stay ahead of the curve. They're bringing out the newest thing that got caught yesterday. This stuff isn't getting caught today. And then, it's almost a game to try to stay ahead. It's just that the way all this is going, and I understand that VADA, from what I understand, takes about 3 or 4 days to get the results. I thought your analysis, especially with something this big, it takes precedence over the guy that might need a drug test for his doggone job. I would like to believe in Las Vegas, wherever you're fighting, they would put that one first, get it to happen, because there's a lot of danger involved if someone's juiced up. And this is a possibility that someone may be juiced up. The other part of it, though, is, take the test knowing that the results coming out after the fight, because there would be too much money lost if all of a sudden he had to call off a fight.
That's a good point. But if it only takes a couple of days or 3 to 4 days, why are we finding out like 3 weeks later?
Well, I don't know. I mean, about a week and a half later, I don't know. Maybe they were thinking about damage control once they saw the results. They already checked the B sample. Let's say that we want to check the B sample, even though we already had checked the B sample. But this is where we are right now. Man, it just takes the hell out of this. It takes the hell out of Ryan's victory. It takes away from Devin, because you don't get it back. What happens? You get the no contest. You're back to being undefeated. You don't get back what you had before that fight, because I believe, in my opinion, that beating was so severe that it's going to be something that affects him for the duration of his boxing career.
I agree. Probably he left a part of himself in the ring
Absolutely.
that
Aaron Pryor
night.
and Aguayo, we saw that. Aaron Pryor and Aguayo went in there, and it was a brutal fight. And as much as people talk about how Aaron had dominated at the end of the fight in the bottle, all that stuff you want to talk about, they were not the same fighters after that, especially Aguayo, but Aaron Pryor, the one who won in the rematch. Yeah, he beat him again. I think it was more mental for Aguayo, but moving forward, he just wasn't the same guy at all.
Yeah, well, he was already towards the end of his career. He was at a weight.
And that's another
You know,
thing. He was moving up the
he
fight.
was at a
Aaron
higher
Pryor.
weight, fighting a monster.
Man,
And he even talked about it. He said, I could have got up, but for what? He said, this guy's better than me. Hey, ref, just keep counting. Like, he just accepted his fate.
and I never heard anybody talk badly about what he had done that night. I don't think I've heard anyone say, you know what, that guy's a coward. That dude did the right thing if there ever was a time to do the right thing on the canvas. If you just looked at the rest and knew you were outgunned and knew that you probably could have lost your freaking life the way that he was fighting, man, you know what?
Yeah, I mean,
he did enough.
They fought practically life and death in the first fight.
Yeah.
And then in the second fight, things are not going his way. He gets dropped, and he just came to the realization, I cannot beat this guy.
Yeah, he took 10 rounds of beating before that drop.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it wasn't like the first round or second round.
Yeah, for real. It wasn't as if Charles Marciano coming back in that second fight and just getting him out of there in one round and ended his career. So I never looked at Aguayo as any differently than what he had deserved for his entire career. He had too much goodwill in the bank, boxing-wise, personality-wise, just an asset to boxing. You couldn't look at him and say anything different after something like that had happened. The better man simply won that night.
And I think he knew he had landed his best punch. Didn't really have much of an effect. So why go out there? Like, even if I land my best punch, it's not going to make a difference.
He's not slowing down. Keeps coming.
Right.
The man keeps coming after you. We don't need that kind of man in our life, man. That's what they talk about.
No shade to Arguello.
Oh, hell no, man.
Let's talk about Canelo finding his balls for once.
Yeah,
but against an old man. He wants to fight Oscar De La Hoya at the press conference. What the hell?
Oscar De La Hoya did not lie about anything he said or read off, whether he had written it himself or someone had written it for him. Whatever came off of that paper as he read it was not a lie. And it's just that Canelo kind of got a little perky once he heard those key words in that whole entire conversation or that statement. He said, bust it twice, and that was it. But he said, put some fucking respect on my name. You don't talk to me like that. And then it went down from there.
But Canelo didn't really respond to that. He was talking like he lost it when he started mentioning his failed drug test.
Yeah, the failed drug test.
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. Well, hey, you did it, man. Deal with it. You know, it's like they say, can't do the time, don't do the crime. He got busted. And then he blamed it on the meat that he ate. That you talk about a weak ass excuse. I've heard a lot of excuses for a lot of different things. Testing positive for performance enhancing drugs because of the meat you ate. It's the cow's fault. It was the cow's fault. Really? Come on, man.
I mean, if you really take a look at it, you can see the possibilities. That means we're all roided out because they do give these animals those types of injections because they want to have leaner, they want a bigger cow. I mean, they do those kinds of things, but that means we're all on roids.
But he's the only one. The only one that ever ate.
He has his own farm. Yeah, he had a different kind of cow. Yep, but now he's fighting Munguia, and this kind of not tainted, but it takes away from Munguia having his moment.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing to me because you have De La Hoya up there talking, and he's saying what he's saying about Canelo. He's saying it's going to be a passing of the torch for Munguia, and he's trying to prop up Munguia, saying that he wanted to step in and face Triple G when Canelo got busted and couldn't fight, and then Canelo wanted to square up with him. And you got Munguia just sitting there like, what's going on here? Like, hey guys, I'm the one fighting Saturday.
I feel bad for him. That's what I feel bad for, that his moment was taken away. This is the biggest fight of his life. It could possibly be a changing of the guard on Saturday. This guy didn't really get a chance to do anything, and anything he might have said got lost in the ruckus.
Yeah, like everything I saw was either De La Hoya talking or Canelo trying to square
Yep.
up. I didn't see
Like,
nothing from Jaime Munguia.
you think those two were fighting? No, for real. You think De La Hoya
Exactly.
was?
That's what I'm saying. Everyone, almost every boxing fan wants him to fight Benavidez,
Yep.
but he'll come up with a million excuses for him not to fight Benavidez. So I've been saying I want Canelo to find his balls. I'm not saying he doesn't have balls. I just want him to find them. And I finally see him find them. And it's against a 50-something-year-old dude.
50
Come on,
something year
man.
old dude that's been to rehab. He says himself about several times, right? Had
Right.
7 different trainers going through all this in his life. We know about the fishnets, and now this is the guy you want to fight.
Hey,
Bro,
hey,
come
crackhead,
on.
crackhead, you better respect me. I'm gonna fuck you up. Come on, man. And
And then he
then
makes the
remember
accusations about
he was complaining. I think Caleb called him a motherfucker.
Caleb
And
Plant.
yeah, and Canelo was going off thinking he was talking about his mom, and they had to explain to him like he's not talking about your mom. So now he's over here calling De La Hoya a motherfucker. Like,
He knows he knows how to
man,
use it now.
don't
Come
be.
on.
I'm
He
just
found
saying,
a new
don't be a
weapon.
hypocrite, man. If it bothered you to the point you wanted to fight right there at the podium, don't use it to somebody else.
Probably because he took it
That's
the
all.
wrong way. I can understand it can get lost in translation or the way he interprets it, and speaking Spanish, I can see how it could come across. But what you talk about my mom, and now that he knows what it is, hell, let's throw it out there now. I kind of know how to use this weapon. Let me
No,
just
but
use it against somebody
he
else.
was insulting him in Spanish already. He was calling him a maricon.
He
He
went
called him
straight
a
to
thing.
Spanish too, man. He
Yeah.
couldn't find the English words, man. He was so pissed. He just went straight to Spanish and tried to undress Oscar, man. Oscar, it's like I saw a couple of comments and people said it was like 8 Mile, where Oscar just threw everything out there so you couldn't really come back at him, and that's what he did, man.
Yeah, that's true. Because
I
all
went to
he did
rehab. I
was
did this and that. Had problems. Blah blah blah. Now what?
that's kind of true. Yep.
But man, and then Canelo talked about Oscar taking money from him. Now that's probably something that could be looked at as slander, libel. What? I mean, I'm not a freaking lawyer, but if Oscar wants to take it there, I'm sure there's more than enough lawyers he could find to do something like that, just to be a pain in the butt and disrupt Canelo's career so far. I mean, if he decides to fight Benavidez in September and Oscar decides to pull some nonsense like this and distract him while he's preparing for someone like Benavidez, that can be a real distraction.
That's true. And he was, I believe, telling Munguia, hey, he's stealing from me.
Lawyer up.
And
Yeah.
he was insinuating that's why he's no longer with Golden Boy. That's
Man,
a serious charge.
It is. And he said it publicly. And you know what? Oscar could just say, you know what? It might hurt future business. People who might want to sign with him might hear this nonsense, and now they're kind of like a little skeptical. So, yeah, he's telling people to lawyer up. You should do that anyway. But now the reasoning for lawyering up, because I was a victim of him, that's what it makes it seem like. And so it adds for people who are kind of like don't understand yet, it kind of gives them a bit of skepticism if you're about to become someone who's about to sign with him. But anyway,
I'm no De La Hoya fan, but you have to consider the source here. Canelo's been with Golden Boy. He's been with DAZN. He's been with Premier Boxing Champions. Why does he keep bouncing around? Are they all stealing from him? Or is he just chasing the bag?
Well, we saw the situation with DAZN when they gave him that huge money, and then COVID came. He still wanted the money, and obviously he couldn't get the money because there's not money coming in. So the COVID deal was the reason why. I mean, and when their little relationship ended, I guess on a fight per fight basis, he ends up leaving. So bouncing around as a free agent, I guess so. But it was Oscar who built his career to what it is right now. He says, "I've always been Canelo from the very beginning." That's what he says. I've always been Canelo from the very beginning. I signed it with you a little later, but I was Canelo from the very beginning. I'm like, well, yeah, it's true, but Oscar did put a lot of money behind it. Now, people give Oscar a lot of credit. It's the name Oscar De La Hoya or Golden Boy, but Richard Schaefer, we all know, was the guy behind Golden Boy that put it to where it is, right now, even though he's gone and been gone for years.
Yeah.
I
don't know. We'll see. I just hope Munguia beats the shit out of him. It's not likely, but
no, it's not likely. If we come down to just talking about the fight, Munguia throws a lot of punches. He's a bigger guy, the natural 168. I guess you want to say that, Well, Canelo's natural. He grew into that naturally. Well, now I'm kind of wondering now with all the roids and tank he's going around, is that natural? But he throws a lot of punches. But the way to knock off someone who throws a lot of punches is to have sharp counters. Canelo, even at this age, still has sharp counters. He still has fast hands from when he did have his days at 154. Munguia was down there before too. But I'm just thinking that's Canelo, the experience. Yeah, there's a time when that experience don't matter. We know he's on the decline now. He's no longer in his prime. But those counter shots and the body shots, body punchers don't like body shots. That's probably going to be the reason why it ends the way it ends. Probably late knockout or unanimous decision with Munguia taking a beating in the process.
Maybe. Depends on how much Canelo has left. But yeah, you're right, because Munguia is the type of fighter Canelo looks good at against. Comes face forward, basically throws punches, and he can avoid and counter, slip and move, then counter him. The guys with jabs that have good footwork, those are the ones that give him problems.
Yep.
We'll see. If Munguia has a good chin, it might be a war.
I think he has a good chin. He's been buzzed before, but I think he has a good enough chin. It's just that Canelo, the thing that impressed me more about Canelo, that his upper body movement. He hasn't done a whole lot of that lately, but I guess because he's trying to conserve his energy. But either way, he had that upper body movement. He's able to throw counters from that upper body movement, and he's been effective doing that. Against John Ryder, he was more offensive. He didn't have to do a lot of counters because John Ryder was right in front of him, and he couldn't get rid of him, even though he did knock him down. Couldn't get rid of him. And in fact, at the end of that fight, in front of his hometown, his home country, John Ryder was kind of coming on a bit more than he should have been and making things a little more interesting than it should have been when you have a homecoming fight like that.
Right. And I think this fight's going to be very similar. I don't see Munguia moving a lot and going backwards. He's going to be coming forward. So it's going to be very similar.
And with Freddie Roach, the offensive genius, I guess, because he's never been known for, taking on defensive fighters. He's the offensive guy. That's the problem. If the counters are sharp and Canelo's sitting on his punches, all of that damage over the course of time, it's going to be methodical. By the time he gets to the 8th round, if it's going in that way, I never even watched Munguia, change his, his cadence or go up and down, do all of those things you need to do to have some diversity to fight against someone like Canelo, who's seen it all by now.
Sorry, I'm getting a message from Paul. I told him to click the link.
Well, okay.
We'll see if he joins.
Yeah. But in any event, man, I don't want to go back to make it seem like it's just a no-hoper. Like I thought, like we both probably thought that Haney and Ryan Garcia was going to be, and it was a hell of an upset. Is this going to be a hell of an upset if it goes down? If Munguia does win, now if he wins by knockout, that's a hell of an upset. If he wins by decision, I think after the initial shock, people are going to say, you know what, he has been slipping. They'll go back to the John Ryder fight, start saying, man, there were signs there. They'll try to, convince themselves that, okay, it's an upset, but not as big as it should have been. We should have saw the red flags.
Yeah, sorry, Paul's saying he'll be here in a sec.
But
yeah, it'll be a shock, I think, if Munguia knocks him out.
Yeah, I think it's a shock if anybody knocks him out right about now. Now, if he moves up again.
But if he's to win the decision, he have to do it much like how Garcia beat Haney. Like hurt him a bunch of times because he's not going to outbox him. He's just not that kind of fighter. He's not going to come out sticking the jab.
Nah, not that guy.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Canelo hurt.
He's going to have to get his pound of flesh early and make Canelo respect him. And if he can back him up and, because Canelo tries to be efficient with his punches. He can go
he doesn't run through
periods without throwing a lot of punches. So Munguia maybe can take advantage of that if he has the stamina.
Yeah, you know what? I think being the younger fighter, he does have the stamina. He's shown that he's had the stamina, but against lower caliber fighters than Canelo, if he jumps on Canelo early and make him have to fight hard for at least the first 5 rounds, then it gets more interesting if he's able to, hang with Canelo anyway up to 5 rounds. But if he's making Canelo fight hard, making him punch hard, making him even miss on occasion, which is hard because this guy's easy to hit. But if he gets to the 5th round, making Canelo really fight harder than he wants to fight, just staying in his face, then Canelo has that fatigue factor that we've known pretty much throughout his entire career. You said he was pretty much economical with his punches because he doesn't want to use that energy. He wants to fight when he wants to fight. Kind of like Bernard Hopkins. He just uglies the fight. You have all these plans before you go in there, or even Pacquiao against Mayweather. We know what Pacquiao brought to the table, a Tasmanian devil mentality. But then he fights Mayweather. We think finally somebody's going to really make Mayweather get after it. And then it's another fight that's fought at Mayweather's pace. And then he wins, gives it, has his own advantage involved. But I just think that that's probably the best opportunity for Jaime. He does have the conditioning. He's proven it over the time that we've known of him. And being younger, you're going to have that conditioning anyway.
He should. You would think this being the biggest opportunity of his boxing career, he's going to come in shape. So he should have that stamina. And hopefully Freddie Roach gives him a good game plan and he's able to execute it.
Well, offense, that's what Freddie Roach is all about. And Munguia, we've seen nothing but offense. So this is probably the continuation. Once again, I think overwhelming Canelo just with activity. Throw what you can throw, land what you can land, shoulders, arms, head, body, if you can get it all out there. But you have to stay on top of your game. It's not going to be free. You got to put him out there, put him on edge, make him have to fight back, make him have to fight hard, try to get him fatigued in that 5th round, 6th round, and then see how the other 6 work out if it gets to that point. But I think Canelo has proven over the years he can take a beating, he can fight tired. He doesn't like it, but he can fight tired. But if Munguia can do a whole lot more while he is tired and taking advantage of it, you can get that, eke out that decision. I mean, even a Canelo decision may not be in the cards if it's clear enough.
Yeah, unless he beats the shit out of him, it's going to be hard for Munguia to win the decision.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Hopefully we don't have a cousin Canelo referee in there. Because Canelo, like out there, cousin Haney was doing with Ryan Garcia. Get out of here.
Yeah, but let's get to this NBA because when Paul comes, we're going to talk boxing again. So.
Yeah. Well, games passed or now games coming back because Milwaukee's playing tonight and Dame's coming back with a bad Achilles still. That doesn't go away. And
I can't believe the Pacers lost that game without Dame. I don't know if they took him lightly.
Chris Middleton, man. Chris Middleton stepping in.
Yeah, but
they had nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. If he's the only one, take the ball out of his hands, makes other people beat you.
The first thing I thought about was Indiana's one of these younger teams, and we've talked about these young teams and the ones who elite young teams like Minnesota and Oklahoma City, and a young team like Indiana probably still doesn't know how to close the show. This may be the season where, you know what, Milwaukee comes back because they're grizzled, and when they get their guys back, even at half-ass, they're probably grizzled enough to get them out of there. And then next year will be their time. I think with Indiana, that's the first thing I thought about. Man, these guys don't know how to close the door. I thought the same thing with the Knicks. Man, Brunson is doing his thing, but they just don't know how to close this damn door right now. And Philly got away with one up there.
The problem in the Knicks-Sixers series, the Sixers always choke, and now you're saying the Knicks may not know how to close them out. So
because no one really expected this.
Somebody has to win.
Yeah, but no one really expected the Knicks to even be up 3-1. And to come to the Garden, I thought they were going to close it out. But I guess this shows that, well, they don't really have that ability right now, at least to close it out. I mean, it's a game-by-game basis, as we already know. But they should even be up 3-1. We already saw how they did get the win at the Garden the last time they were at the Garden up until the last time. And Philadelphia, now in Philly, favored by 2.5, I believe. Man, I think they should win tonight, making it 3-3, so go back to the Garden.
They should, but I don't know. We'll see. Brunson has been balling.
Oh, man.
First couple games,
playoffs.
First couple games, people were wondering what's wrong with Brunson.
I was.
Ain't nothing wrong with Brunson.
Nothing, man. If anything, he's the only dude doing it. I mean, Hart come out, doing his thing too. Mitchell's injured, but I mean, and Dante DiVincenzo. Well, we need a little bit of that little DiVincenzo magic coming into this game because there was games where he hit 36 and hit 20 plus in this past season when no one expected it. He got a little comfortable doing that. Tibbs let him hold the ball a little bit more, let him make plays. Now he's not doing as much with that. I think everybody's kind of like in this playoff mode to where they're relying on that leader, and Brunson is that leader they're relying on. They still need to fill their own roles, man.
I think if Coach Tibbs is smart, and I think it's pretty unanimous that people know he is smart, they gotta slow down Maxey. Like, Embiid's hobbled. Is he gonna drop 50 again? I don't know. But Maxie, he's on the come up, man. And after that last game, the way the way he
46.
snatched that game back, man, they're at home. He's gonna be hyped. He's gonna be excited. He's
Yeah.
gonna come out aggressive. You cannot let Maxie beat you again.
That's the deal, though. They have more than one guy that can get them there. Even though Embiid's coming off an injury, they do have another guy that can do that. The Knicks don't have that one definitive guy.
But I'm saying if it's Embiid, the former MVP, he's on one leg. Man, if he hits crazy shots, I just tip my hat. But I'm not gonna let Maxie run wild, do his thing.
Yeah, but 46 points, boy, he was just hot. And by the way, Maxie was the one holding him down when Embiid was out.
Right.
He's the reason why they even got to this point.
That's what I'm saying. They got to slow down Maxie. Don't let him get off.
Yeah, and then hopefully that the hobbling Embiid doesn't get off either. But he's already dropped 52 coming back with his from injury in the playoffs. Man, I don't want to say I don't trust this Knicks team. I just think that we don't have a definitive number two that can go out there, whereas Philly has that definitive number two. In fact, even a number one if Embiid's really hurt, in Maxey.
That's true.
And how about Milwaukee, man? I mean, now we're talking about Milwaukee. I mean, look, Indiana should have won that game because of the distractions coming from Milwaukee. And now those hobbled guys are allegedly playing tonight. This should be an opportunity for Milwaukee to kind of, get another one. But it's in Indiana. And Indiana, the young guys, do they play well in front of people, in front of their home crowd, or do they get choked up? And some of these veteran guys who've been waiting for this moment get it done. I mean, Embiid's been in the playoffs before, but Dame, he's the one who's new to the dance. And it's an Achilles, man. That's what I'm bugging about. Come on.
Yeah.
It's an Achilles, but you don't play with an Achilles, man.
Yeah, we talked about that on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, your Achilles, I'm not aware of anyone ever having a sore Achilles. You usually don't know anything's wrong with your Achilles unless you get hit there or you tear it.
Or something. Those are two bad alternatives, man.
For him to have a sore Achilles, there's something going on there.
I had a little sore only because of running, but that's it. Nothing to think, I take my next step, something may happen. You just know that it's there. That's it. But these guys running up and down the hardwood floor, something's up. I mean, you can either feel it or you don't feel it. It doesn't come on all of a sudden. I mean, actually, it does come on all of a sudden more than just kind of weans itself into its rupture. We've seen the guys. We saw Kobe go out there and hit his free throws after tearing his Achilles, man. But if Dame injures his Achilles tonight, if it ruptures for some ridiculous reason like that tonight, he's not coming back to almost the playoffs of next year. That's what the Achilles does to you.
Yeah. So, I don't know the extent of his issue, but obviously they don't feel it's that much of a risk. But when you look at KD coming back with the Warriors, and then he came back from a calf injury, and then he left with an Achilles injury. So you can argue that he came back too early because the Achilles and the calf are related. Obviously.
Related, right? Yep.
So it wasn't fully healed. But I think the Pacers being at home, they should close them out. But let's talk about Chris Middleton, man. He doesn't get a lot of shine anymore.
Oh, no.
Since
it was him and Drew Holiday, now it's just him. He's killing it, man.
Since they won the championship, he doesn't get a lot of shine, right? He's been injured a lot, but for him to get that one game, they're down 3-1. They could just mail it in 1-2-3 Cancun, but for him to go out there and get that W and extend the series, now he's getting Dame back. I mean, that's huge. You said he was the only one that obviously had teammates out there, but
teammates out there.
But he was the one who led them to victory.
Mm-hmm.
So just give him a little bit of props because, again, they could have just mailed it in. Oh, we don't have Dame. Giannis hasn't been playing. Man, call the wife. Where we going on vacation, babe? But
make the reservations. They already made it. Who's going to win anyway?
Screw that. We're going to win. We're going back to Indianapolis.
So how about we kind of go back a little bit more? Well, the Lakers are gone. They didn't get swept, but 4-1, hell, you might as well just get swept. Denver does what Denver's doing, defending champs. And the Lakers did put up a fight, but so what? It doesn't matter. These moral victories don't matter when there's a championship on the line somewhere down the line.
So you know what's crazy? We have all these young players coming up, ascending. Anthony Edwards, dog. Tyrese Halliburton, dog.
Bro.
You know, all these guys. And Jamal Murray, he's doesn't put up 35, 40 like these guys are doing. Doesn't snatch your soul until the end of the game.
When it matters.
Right.
That's what you need. Big shot.
Yo,
Bob
I don't know if I want the ball in anybody else's hands in the last 2 minutes. In game 2, he was shooting like crap. Last 4 minutes of the game, he made a couple layups, hit some jumpers, and hit the game winner. Game 5, he was playing better. He was shooting better. And you just knew once he came down with the ball coming off that screen, oh, this money. There was no doubt when he took that jumper. If AD didn't block it, that ball's going in. So right now, for my money, I wouldn't want the ball in anybody else's hands at the end of the game. I don't care if Ant has 55. You know, I don't care if Harden's 9 for 12 from 3-point range. But he choked the other night. He didn't even wait for game 6. Dallas should they need to close them out ASAP. But yeah, Murray, that dude, he's just a dog. But I don't know if he can be a dog like Anthony Edwards to that extent for a full game. But again, well, he doesn't have to be. He's got Jokic.
I'm about to say he doesn't have to be.
Michael Porter Jr. Maybe if he was on a different team. But again, at the end of the game, man, get out the way, give it to Murray.
Man, yeah, and he's making it happen, man. But the defending champs, you know, our real chance to repeat. I mean, it's going to get slow because that Minnesota team, you said, matches up with them probably better than anyone else because of the height, the size. You know, they get the length, and they have the young guys, and they have a real absolute dog, Anthony Edwards, on that squad. So I can see that going down like that. But how about, man, look, we don't even really need to talk about it, but the Celtics taking care of the Heat, kind of redeeming themselves from last season. 34 points, threw them out there. Didn't even have Porzingis. And they talk about Miami being shorthanded. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter who's on that team. They'll go get blown out regardless.
Yeah, Boston wanted some get back. They got it. I didn't watch much of that series. I expected the Celtics to take.
Exactly. I mean, people were trying to bring up what happened last year.
But those games usually start too early before I'm available to start watching anyway. Because, like, I know I'm going to watch the T-Wolves, or I knew I was going to watch the Nuggets and Lakers, or, you know, or the OKC games. So I'm not going to start watching at 6 o'clock all the way till midnight. You know,
yeah, OKC got their broom out too, by the way, since you threw them out there. OKC, when a young team.
I mean, if it was game 6, game 7, I would watch, but I expected Boston to handle them. So I didn't watch those games. So I don't even know if Jimmy Butler played or if he was hobbled, because I know he was injured some. But it obviously, I don't think when you lose by 34, it wouldn't matter.
I'm about to say, man, it don't matter. So, looks like the Lord is pulling up on here. Let's get him up in here.
What's up?
What's up, yo?
That was the most frustrating 20 minutes of my life. The computer back here, I had to get on my phone. This one is still stuck at 85%. Updating, just stuck. Decided, I'm not gonna do anything. I came in on this one, and then it just decided it gave me some weird message and it's making some weird noise. I'm like, this is what is going on? I think Canelo's people don't want me to talk about him today. They don't want me to.
Everybody else is, man. They're not talking about him. They're talking about Ryan.
So we already did, man. The floor is yours.
Look, okay. Couple things. Can I touch on Ryan first, or are we just going through?
It's up to you. The floor is yours.
Beat him down.
Look, a couple of years ago, during the pandemic, or maybe right before, I was a big defender of Ryan Garcia because he was doing a lot of things that I thought were immature, but he's young. I mean, you guys may have been squared away, but I was a jerk at 22 years old. I was kind of an idiot. I didn't realize it, so I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. But look, man, you don't come in. I've got people saying that, there's supposed to be some big conspiracy that they want to take away the win. It's not like Haney's some financial powerhouse where they stand to lose a lot of money. He's not the big star that doesn't really that math and mathing, as they say. But you can't tell me that a guy who smoked, drank, and was having sex all throughout camp, missed weight on purpose, is somehow above and beyond on a moral place from doing PEDs. And there's two different findings. I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, look, I might be a fool, but I ain't that big of a fool. Like that, Ryan, you know what you were doing, and that's look with this sport in particular. I love this sport. This is my favorite sport in the world. This is not the Tour de France. You can kill somebody like that.
Yes.
You can literally end someone's life. And Haney took a bad beating.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of beating that may or may not. He may not be the same guy after that. And even if he is, it's going to take some time to recover, and that's take some years off of your career. I mean, that was a really, really. It's hard to forgive. It's hard to forgive that, man. It's hard to. We've seen too many guys, and we're older, so we've seen guys. I was just talking to one of my students about McClellan, explaining who McClellan is.
Like,
yeah, guys die and they lose their lives or they lose their sight and are irreparably damaged from stuff like this, man. And it's just reckless and super irresponsible of Ryan. And I honestly, I'm really looking back now at the 12th round and the dancing and the sticking the tongue out, knowing you were on PEDs, man. It's hard for me to look past that. That's it. But anyway. He's gonna get his just desserts. I just don't think that's something that can be overlooked because it was so brazen. We'll see what happens there.
I said that they're going to sample or test another sample B.
Yeah.
But for the meantime, he ain't shit for doing this.
It's a terrible thing, man. You could literally kill some. Remember when what was it, McGuire and Barry Bonds and everybody? There was the big home run thing going on in baseball. What was that, like 97 or so?
Sosa and McGuire.
Yeah, but that's baseball. And I'm not, nothing, no disrespect against baseball, but people rarely die in baseball, man.
Nobody gets hit in the face.
You know what I mean? It's like it's just super reckless and irresponsible and disrespectful to the sport, to a sport that already has a bad reputation. It's super uncool. And what's even more uncool is the amount of people that look like they're just trying to dismiss this because they don't like the Haneys. Look, there's plenty of boxers I can tell you I don't like. I did not like Tarver. I still don't like Tarver. I really couldn't stand Joe Calzaghe. I didn't like John Ruiz or Stoney, but I wouldn't wish any of them to be cheated. You know what I mean? I wouldn't wish any of them to have irreparable damage to happen to them. So that's just way uncool, man. But we're gonna see. We'll see what happens, but I'm not really upset about that. That's not it.
But
These are young fighters, man.
I wonder how boxing might look at it now, because if you know or may not know, in the past week or so, a boxer had died, and Artie Denimbo died. He was in a coma. And he was a 27-year-old fighter, and he went into a coma after a boxing match and died because of the head injuries. Even though I don't think anyone's been accused of using PEDs, it just lets you know the fragility of the boxing game, even when you're on an even playing field, at least right now. So when you have someone who takes the advantage of being a person like that's going to take PEDs, you accentuate the dangers of it. And the carefree action, I'm hoping it's not that bad, but it looks like every direction seems like it may just be that bad. He just didn't give a damn. He looked like and acted like he didn't give a damn throughout the entire promotion. And for this to come about, man, it kind of accentuates the point of this dude really didn't give a damn. He really, and then the talk of killing fighters that they were talking about leading to the fight. Bro, come on.
Look, these are the kinds of things that how some of the old folks say you just don't put certain things in the air. You just don't. In a sport like this, I would never, and I know several guys have done it, whether they meant it or not. I was a big Tyson guy, and I know he's talked a lot of crazy things. Wilder said some things. But come on, I mean, to come in heavy, well, where heavyweights, they don't have to concern themselves about coming in heavy. They don't have a limit. But to come in heavy on purpose, to blame that on Floyd, Floyd told me to do it, which is, come on. And you have the PEDs, man. It just, that's a terrible, terrible look.
It is.
I don't know how his reputation is really going to fully bounce back from that. There's some people who don't care. But had the roles been reversed, Had everything been reversed, they would crucify Haney for this. They would crucify him for this, man. So I hate
Yeah,
to see it.
I think you're
I hate
right.
to see it.
you
Yeah,
mentioned the weight. Like he already purposely said, I'm not coming in, I'm not draining myself. I'm coming in as
yeah,
strong as can be. And he
right.
really meant it because he's taking PEDs too.
And I saw, and there's another guy I can't stand, but I wouldn't wish bad things on him. Paulie Malignaggi, who I'm just not
That's my
who
guy,
he's
man.
yeah, who he's morphed into in terms of his worldview. I can't get with him, but he had a post today talking specifically about what one of the PEDs that Ryan is accused of taking does. And some of it is that muscle retention. So perhaps that 3 pounds, you couldn't get it off because you put it all
It's
on with
muscle.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't. But I just would have expected a lot more of. Look, you remember when you did something wrong and your parents caught you. You at least had the sense to make the sad face. You at least had the sense to seem like you were, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I messed up. This guy just doesn't seem like he has a care in the world. He doesn't even care. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter
he's
at
like
all.
he's making videos like fake news and whatnot.
Right. It's. I mean, and he just visited with the orange guy, so maybe that's some of it. I don't know, but
You know what? But they also, Patrick Bet David is kind of sort of glorifying him too because he came on his show not too long after the fight, a couple of days after the fight.
yeah,
And then even on his follow-up video that he has going on right now, he's still kind of siding with them, and they're kind of making conspiracy theories and all that to the point to where Hearn is even being implicated as somebody who might have gotten in the back of the scenes and changed things around to where this is why we have the story we have now.
you know
I
what?
don't know.
It's a sad day when I have to defend somebody like Eddie Hearn because I really don't like Eddie Hearn, but I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. First of all, the financial upside is Ryan. He's the guy that stands to make people money. So if anybody they were going to look to try to sweep something under the rug for, it would be him. But so much attention was on Ryan and not in a good way during the lead up and all of this stuff. It just all looks bad. All of it looks bad, man. I mean, it's going to take a hell of a PR spin to do this. I almost put this on Twitter or X or whatever, but I decided not to. I was like, why don't just him and Conor Ben fight each other since this is how they want to behave? Let them go. Let them both go do it, and let the pieces fall where they may. But I don't know, man. It's not a good look. I know that part. It's really not a good look, and I hope it's not true. But I nothing about his behavior gives me confidence that he was morally against doing something like this. I just feel like if you knew you were going to smoke weed and drink the whole time and just misbehave through camp and still be that confident, it's because you knew you had a reason to be confident because you were on some stuff and you knew you were on some stuff. Think about how this is a 25-year-old guy with probably close to $100 million in the bank. He thought he could buy the best stuff possible and get away with this.
He said he doesn't even know how to get steroids. He's like, man, I don't know where they're coming from. The video that he made, man, I wouldn't even know where to get steroids from.
Yeah, well, that right there is a lie because he was in Canelo's camp.
Thank you. You beat me to it.
Exactly, man. Come on.
You beat me to it. I mean,
why did they go there saying this kind of stuff? Like, we don't even have videos or memories, or we don't know what the hell's going on.
Come on. That'd be like, look, I came home late from the bar with lipstick on my collar. Honey, I don't even know where to get another woman. I don't know where are all these other women. What? Come on. That's crazy. I mean, I don't, but speaking of Canelo, I don't know. Did you guys give your official picks already?
No, we didn't do picks. We just
wasn't official. We kind of the lingo lets us know exactly who we're leaning towards.
Yeah. I mean, so I have a good buddy of mine who has actually been in camp with both of those guys a couple of times, and he sparred both of those guys. And I actually asked him before this was signed, when it was kind of looking like he might be an opponent. He's got more confidence in Munguia than I do, and he's been in the ring with both of these guys, at least in a sparring capacity. So I have to give that some credence. You know what I mean? He's not like a guy that doesn't know what he's talking about. But the Canelo show, the Canelo business, the Canelo machine, I feel like it's such a planned out and methodical machine. I can't see them making a big misstep here and picking a guy. Like, they can't have another Bivol situation on their hands. And I feel like that. Yeah, I mean, again, I got to listen to my buddy because he's taken punches from both of these guys, and he's Definitely confident in Munguia's punch power for sure. And he said that he's old school in the way that he attacks, where when he comes, he's really coming. But I just feel like I would be a little silly. Now, my FanDuel might say something else because, you got to go for a live dog. If I only put down $20, I can afford
Yeah.
I can afford to lose $20 to maybe make a few hundred. But I would have to pick Canelo. I just think he's more of a sharpshooter. The angles are tighter. He's a smart guy. I don't think they picked this fight for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
If Canelo wanted to show his cojones and really do something big, he'd be fighting Benavidez tomorrow or this Saturday.
No, he only shows them against old guys.
Right, yo, that's another thing. Man. And I'm like, Oscar, listen, I was a big Oscar De La Hoya fan back in the day. And he's also become a guy that is hard to defend, and certainly in his out of the ring antics and persona and the stuff that he does. But Oscar's 51. And how can you call him a gato with his resume? Oscar might be a lot of things, but you can't call him a pussy. He's not a pussy. You can't call
for everybody, man.
Everybody, man. You can't call him that. Call him a cokehead, call him whatever, a lush or whatever, but you can't call him that. I mean, the way Oscar ran his career versus Canelo, it's kind of a night and day situation. And people would say I'm a hater. I like to watch Canelo fight. I just don't like Canelo, the business, and the choices. But Oscar fought everybody. The only two people you can maybe even, and you can't really make a case for it, really, but maybe Winky Wright, maybe Vernon Forrest.
I was about to say Winky Wright, but he would have beaten Vernon Forrest, in my opinion. But
I mean, but that's like the only guys. The Winky Wright thing, he erases that fighting Bernard Hopkins. Like, nobody asked him to do that crazy shit.
Absolutely.
That was crazy. Coming off that Felix Sturm thing, I'd have been like, you know what, I'm done.
Bro, that Felix Sturm debacle, man. Come on.
Yeah,
he didn't work out for that fight. You talking about a fighter who didn't work out. He had a big gut, the whole deal going into that fight.
Upper top was coming right over the top. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't, so I'm disappointed in Canelo and I'm disappointed in Ryan Garcia. It's just, we got to do better, man. Speaking of disappointment, I'm going to pass it around to my Maryland guy. Tank is going crazy too. Do you see what he's talking about?
Everybody's in this mix right now.
It's just last year, he was accusing Ryan of using PEDs with no failed test or anything. Now this year, all of a sudden, Ryan's not because you don't like Devin Haney. It's crazy. I don't understand this, man. This is crazy. I really feel like the boxing world is in the bizarro universe, man, where things are upside down. The fighters that try to fight everybody dumps on them. The guys who don't fight everybody, I see more of these young people online making excuses as to why big fights shouldn't happen than they should. What are we doing? What are we doing? What sane fight? Okay, guys, because Trav, we used to be on the boxing boards back in 99, 2000. Everybody wanted the big fight, no matter who you thought was going to win it. We wanted it. I think my guy's going to beat your guy, and you think your guy's going to beat my guy. Well, let's do it. I don't know what's happening to these young people today. I don't know what's going on. They just don't want to. It's like going to WWB. Oh my God, I can't even talk. WWE. And you watch somebody fighting like Barry O or some guy that's going to lose. You just want to see Coco Beware get a win. You know what I mean? Barry O, you remember that guy? Or like
it's funny you mentioned WWE because I saw a quote attributed to Canelo saying, "I'll fight Benavidez on Saturday too," and I was like, "Yeah, right. This ain't the WWE
for 20 million.
It would be so amazing if the music starts and it's not Munguia. Benavidez comes out.
Bro, that's straight WWE, man.
Like, can you imagine his face? It's like the Undertaker's coming out. Oh shit!
You know what? You just had like a $1 trillion idea. If Canelo was somebody was a marketing genius enough to pull that off, to really do something like that, it would be, the world would go insane. It would go insane. That would be crazy. If what you just said happened Saturday night, the world would go crazy.
It'd be on Twitter. People who have no intention of buying or watching boxing would run home to fight a fight
immediately. Imagine Munguia starts to walk, and here comes Benavidez out of nowhere with like a chair. Bang! No, you're not going in there. I'm going in there. That would be out of this world. That would be out of this world, man. I'll never forget that in the rest of my life. That would be the craziest thing. Look, I'd be at Alzheimer's on my deathbed, not know my kid's name, but I'll remember that. That I will remember that. I'll never forget that.
For real, right?
Crazy. That would be insane, man.
That would be insane. Vegas would be the only ones upset because they couldn't make a book quick enough.
Right. Like, oh my God. Benavidez. Oh my God. That would be
unfortunately, I think the closest we'll ever get is Triple G coming out to Seven Nation Army to face off with Canelo in the ring after his fight.
Wow, looking for a fourth fight. Come on, man. This guy's essentially retired. He's not even thinking about another fight.
No, that was before they fought the first time.
Oh, all right.
And he's
I think that was after the Cotto fight.
Really? The Cotto Canelo fight?
Yeah, I think that was
a while back. Yeah.
But that's when Triple G came out to the ring to Seven Nation Army.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like, I'm next.
Yeah, because Canelo took his sweet time. Remember, he relinquished the title rather than get in there. He waited for a while to fight Canelo.
Yeah, he waited like 2 years, and then he got busted for drugs. So then he got suspended.
Yeah, an extra year
off another year. Yeah. Triple G was like 45 by the time they fought.
I know there are guys that would say, because we've rarely had something nice to say about Canelo. But here's my biggest problem with Canelo for me. I actually like Canelo, and I have more faith in his ability than he does, and it makes me angry. It makes me angry that you won't just put it on the line. I tell my students all the time, man, you can win like a loser and you can lose like a winner, but you got to put your balls on the line. That's what makes winning worth something, man. When you put it on the line. If Canelo had the heart of, God rest his soul, Diego Corrales, he'd be every bit of what he sells us and tells us he is. If he had that kind of heart, that kind of
Corrales, bro.
balls. But
Chico.
He wants to stack the deck in every way, man, and it's really frustrating to watch Canelo waste. Because now we're on the back end of his career. Now we've wasted some time.
Yeah,
fighting guys
that for quite some time though, but he's on that decline. It's just a matter of seeing what happens on Saturday if Munguia is able to get that, continue that precipitous drop. I just don't think so. Only because Canelo, as you said, man, he's composed. He has so much experience. He still has that upper body movement, and that countering is always going to be an opportunity against a voluminous puncher. It slows them down, makes them think more than they want to think.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, I hope I'm wrong because my FanDuel money would really appreciate it.
So since Paul mentioned it, we can make official predictions. I'll go first. Since Paul dropped some inside knowledge, I'm gonna take Munguia. Fuck Canelo.
Hey, good man. Let's get it.
It may be closer than people expect, but I still got to go with Canelo, man. The old guard is still there, but then you think about what happened in the Ryder fight. The Charlo fight doesn't even matter when it comes to this conversation. That's not even
like conventional wisdom tells you Munguia is gonna be there for Canelo to hit, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And he's gonna avoid his punches and counter and make him miss and make him pay.
Make him think.
But it could be Munguia's a buzzsaw. Like he could just run into a buzzsaw and be like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
I said that earlier though.
Because Munguia's gonna come.
First five rounds, man. If he forces Canelo to fight more than Canelo wants to fight, because we know he's always about conserving energy. That's why he's economical with his punches. I think it's part of strategy, but it's part of him thinking about, damn, the later rounds I might not have anything. I think if Munguia goes after him the first 5 rounds and make him uncomfortable, making him fight, get him fatigued for the next 6 rounds if it's going to go 12, man, that's when it's completely interesting because that Munguia being that young, he's going to have the condition to continue bust on because that's his style anyway. It's not like he's using a new style to beat him. He's doing what he does. It's just a matter of how much can Canelo hold up against that overwhelming, punch volume if the counters aren't working, or even if the counters are working.
Yeah. How tall is Munguia? I know he's taller than Canelo because who is
6 feet? Yeah.
6 feet. Okay, so he's not a lot taller, but he's
like Caleb Plant.
Okay. I mean, I have to go. Look, okay, my buddy said exactly what you just said, Trav, that he said he thinks this is going to be closer than people think it's going to be. And I mean, him sharing the ring with both I have to listen to him. And I've shared the ring with him. This is one of the few people who is absolutely whip my ass in the ring. I can tell you that for sure. My buddy, that guy, he's good. He's good. The speed, the accuracy, all the whole stuff. Like so I have to listen to him. It's not like this is a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about in there. But it's hard to pick against Canelo, even as disappointed with his antics as I am. It's hard to. Like I said, I got a couple of side bets. Thank God with the betting world, I can put money on both ends of this thing. But it's
Right?
gun to my head, I have to pick Canelo, maybe late stoppage. Because he's been fighting bigger guys than Munguia too. So maybe a late stoppage, I think.
And Munguia has also been buzzed before, and he's been hurt before. And Canelo has heavy hand regardless.
And accurate shots. He doesn't waste a lot of punches too. So I
And
mean, again, I kind of hope I'm wrong because I think the boxing world could use a good shake up. If we're not going to get Benavidez running in there at the last minute, we could use a good shake up. I'll tell you, Tab, a bias, you got to hit somebody with that idea. So you got to email somebody and be like, look, if y'all do this, that's a big money idea.
It's too late.
Well, look, somebody could do it. We need some other rivalry. Somebody could do that because the first person to do it, you can't do it again. It's not going to serve the same.
Kind of like what Ryan just did.
Yeah, dog.
You go only do it once.
Amazing. I swear to God, that would be amazing. I'm going to talk about that for the whole week now. I'm going to talk about the next 7 days, man. Oh man. So yeah, I'm picking Canelo late stoppage. I just think maybe a TKO situation in like the 11th or so. But we never know. Guys do get old all of a sudden. I mean, that happens, and you're fighting a young guy who can crack. Maybe this is the day. Maybe this is the day. I don't know. Are they doing VADA testing for this?
I'm sure they are doing testing. Period, because this is a championship fight.
Yeah.
So there's some type of test. I don't know whether the testing is going to either be VADA or someone else. There's going to be a test, and they have to, especially in light of all this crap that we just gotten in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, that's such a bad look, and it's difficult because you want to defend boxing, but at the same time, there's behavior that just isn't right. Like I'm torn about even buying this fight because I don't like DAZN. I don't like the commentary. What's the two dudes? Ak and Barack. One of them doesn't even wear socks, for God's sakes. They get on my nerves. But I'm such a boxing junkie. I want to see this. Like,
bro, I'm in the same boat. $89 to pay for that fight. See, I've already said that when I buy a fighter, I always keep in mind wanting to support the fighters. You know what I mean? I look at their money first. That's it. But this here, he's giving us a fight we don't want. Just a fight that has to happen. He's already said he doesn't fight Mexicans. Now he's fighting Mexicans. It's an all Mexican Cinco de Mayo. Going completely against what he said for years just to get away from Benavidez. In September, if he fights Benavidez, I'll pay then. I'm still on the fence right now.
I'm with you. I just told my buddy because, matter of fact, he came over here to train, and I was like, yo, I told my man I was going to go do this live. He didn't even hit me up anyway. Whatever. I'm not going to get it. But I just was telling him, I say to you now, I'm not buying the fight. But watch 4 p.m. Saturday, I'm going to start itching. You know what I mean? They may get me because this is the only sport. And one thing I've always hated about boxing, you don't ever want to be Sunday morning putting all the pieces together because watching the fight when it's not live is not the same.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
it's not the same, man. You got
to that point, I was at a house party. Some dude came in saying Tyson lost. Oh, get out of here! Tyson didn't lose. He did lose, and then put on the TV 42-1 underdog. Buster Douglas knocked out. What the fuck?
Yep.
The same thing happened to me. We went to a party in downtown Silver Spring. This is when people were starting to wear champion shoes and the little champion short outfits and whatnot.
Yeah.
We all had the different color champion outfits. Fahrenheit cologne had just come out. I'm dating myself bad on this.
Damn, Fahrenheit.
Right. That had just come out. And we got in the cab to go home. And the dude on the radio said, if you haven't heard by now, Tyson lost. And my buddy, who was a big Holyfield fan, was dying laughing. I was like, no, this is not. He's messing with us. He's playing. Because that doesn't come on. I didn't even stay home for that. I didn't even bother to stay home because Tyson was going to win. And no, he did not.
If you remember, like the 2 or 3 fights before that, he was knocking dudes out in the first round, second round. We're like, another second round knockout. Let's go to
There's no way I believed. There's only 2 fighters in my lifetime that I believe they were going to win just the same way the sun was coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
Prime Roy Jones and Mike Tyson in my life, it was a certainty. I could set my watch to that. At least so I thought.
And by the way, and the way that Holyfield looked against Bobby Chaz the fight before, like crap. That's the reason why Mike even gave him the shot. That dude looked absolutely shot in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, Holyfield's a wild dude because I've seen him struggle with guys like Vaughn Bean, where you're like, what? Vaughn Bean?
Yeah, Vaughn freaking Bean. I remember
Vaughn Bean. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing him getting buzzed and stuff where you're like, there's no way. And I'm a young guy too, so I didn't have that much years in the game. So you couldn't have told me there was no way Evander Holyfield was going to beat Mike. You couldn't. You could be a hypnotist or whatever. No one was going to be able to change my mind on that. And I was obviously wrong. Man, there's no way. Mike and Roy were the guys I thought those were freaks of nature at the time. To me, Anyway, but yeah, man, we'll see what goes on Saturday. Are you guys? So you're not sure if you're gonna watch it?
I'm not sure yet, man. It still bothers me. I want to support the damn fighters, at least the way things look for Jaime yesterday, man. I might just want to support him, but he's not. It's not going to get split in half just for him. But God, man,
I'm watching it. My cousin invited me. I don't see my cousin.
Damn, I might get sucky.
I'm worried I might get because I mean, look, I don't illegally stream fights either, so I either buy it or I don't buy it. Like I don't cheat the sport. I was telling folks, I literally just stopped getting physical ring magazines to the house like last year. So I've been supporting as much as I physically and financially can for as long as I can. So I want to be supportive and I want to see this, and I'm not going to steal it. So I don't know, man. Like I said, come 4 or 5 o'clock. If that I start getting that crackhead itch, it might happen.
Yeah,
man.
right?
It
Who's
might
on the
happen.
undercard, by the way?
Man,
who's on the undercard?
Oh, I don't even know,
bro.
But when Lennox Lewis fought Andrew Galata, I was not going to buy that fight. And I was waiting for my homie to pick me up. And he's like, hey, man, I'm going to be there a little late. It was like 9:30. I was like, man, they're walking out to the ring right now. Man, I bought it. Right. He came honking the horns. Man, you better bring your ass inside. I'm watching this fight now. We ended up watching the fight. So I know how you feel. Like you start getting that itch, like Pookie. It'd be calling you. It'd be calling
you. I'm telling you, man. And look, and I don't, I'm doing a single dad thing and all that, so I don't really go out. And I live in Baltimore, so I really don't go out. Like I ain't messing with these people up here, man. It's crazy up here.
Yeah. Right.
So I know I'm gonna be sitting home. It's Saturday. What else am I gonna be doing? What else am I gonna be doing? Like I'm trying to stick to my guns because I want Canelo. He ain't gonna learn. First of all, he's not gonna learn a lesson from mine. But in some cosmic space, I want to be able to stick to my guns and say, no, I refuse until you fight the guy, man. But I want to watch fighting. I want to watch the fights, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check out this undercard, and if there's anything that looks compelling, maybe that'll push me one way or the other. Or if I got any of my buddies say they're coming over, then I'll do it because somebody's got to put in with. I'm not paying the whole 80 whatever myself.
$89.99. These guys. I'm
not doing it myself, man. That's not for Jaime Munguia. No disrespect to Jaime, but this is not what I wanted to see. Put Jaime on the undercard. You fight Benavidez and put Jaime on the undercard, then I'm good. But
I'll be solid.
Oh God! Like I said, I might be singing a different tune when I talk to y'all next. I did it. I have no self-control. Look, I used to buy those Cedric Kushner heavyweight explosion cards. So I have a problem.
I remember that back in the day, Cedric Kushner.
Yeah, I had a problem. I mean, if I'm buying that, there's no telling what I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy.
Man, you got some sloppy dudes in those cards, bro.
Oh man, I remember one of them because I was excited just to see Chris Bird. Like I liked Chris Bird. A lot of guys, thought he was boring or whatever. But I like boxing. I like to watch good boxing. So I bought it.
I thought Chris Bird was very underrated.
Chris Bird was a badass, man.
To be a super middleweight fighting a heavyweight and not getting knocked out the ring. Yeah.
And look, I don't know if folks remember this, but he wasn't Tua. Yeah, he hurt Tua to the body.
Yeah,
he hurt Tua to the body, man.
And everybody said he had pillows.
The fact that he even fought Tua is crazy. You know what I'm saying? This dude fought everybody, bro. They forget.
He fought Ike. He fought the president.
He fought Ike.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's another man you can never call him a pussy. He wasn't scared of nothing, man.
Nope.
He fought to the Klitschko's, both of
He
them.
was winning for 5 rounds against Ike until he got caught that.
So he got
Kind of
Ike
drooling.
was a monster, man. Yeah, Chris Bird was one of those guys that I really feel like what would have happened to his career if he decided to just be like a light heavyweight. What would he have done? He would have ran into Roy Jones. That would have been really interesting.
Ooh, it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been that. When Roy was making his heavyweight run, I was saying that don't be surprised if he fights Chris. Chris might be the one to beat him. I thought Chris might be the first one to do it.
Slick as hell. And
he's been at that weight for a lot longer period of time. You know, Roy was stopping it slow a little bit. I was concerned.
That's probably why he fought Ruiz.
Yeah,
Ruiz. Man, I mean, it's all dangerous.
Yeah,
he makes selective history.
Hey, look, I did want Roy to fight. I wanted him to fight Evander because he was still around. That was a slow. Evander slowed down enough, and end your career with Lennox. We know what would have happened with Lennox, but the legend of Roy would have been intact. No one could ever say anything bad about him losing to Lennox Lewis. That would have been fine.
Oh, nah, man. His father though was the one who stepped in.
Yeah, he didn't want him to fight. Right. But you know what? Against the linear guy and a guy of Lennox's pedigree, you can't really lose. If you're Roy, even if you lose, you can't lose. You can't. Yeah. If he even did well for 6 or 7 and then just got clipped with some, his legend would have been the way people look at Roy's career now. Yeah, it's to hear some younger folks talk about Roy. It's like Roy was never what Roy was, and we know what Roy used to be. And it's kind of sad, man, to go out that way. If I could have been in his advisor, Roy, you should have stuck with. You should have let me guide those last few years, man. I'd have had you there, but
he probably should have retired after the Ruiz fight, or at least the first Tarver fight.
The Darius Mikoszewski fight never happened. That's what the only lingering thing. It never happened.
Did he ever come to the States?
No, the deal was he was such a big box office over there. But I always understood why Roy didn't fight him. Because Roy still had on his mind what happened in Korea at the Olympics, man. You can't help but have that blend in your brain going overseas when you're at your best. He does it now because he's old.
Yeah, but he's at his best, man. Look at Kawasaki. He eventually came over to the States because he knew he had to.
Yeah,
didn't really
I'll
care.
never like him. I'll never like Kawasaki. I will never like that guy. And it's much for that reason, man. Like it. At least, look, with Roy and Darius Mikoszewski, the WBO belt still wasn't really, because it's not like it is today.
It's not what it is now, yeah.
Yeah, like at the time. And if you remember, Julio Gonzalez and his last name was Hall.
Richard Hall.
I think Mikoszewski had 2 fights with both of those guys, and I think he lost to Gonzalez.
Yeah, he finally lost.
Yeah, and Roy did magic against Richard Hall. Remember, that's the one where Richard Hall didn't know where he was. He didn't even know where Roy was. Roy was
man.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think it was ever an instance to where we could really. I don't think Mikoszewski had a chance at that. Roy was on top of the planet.
No, I talked to Montel Griffin. He's like, man, Roy would fuck him up.
Yeah, I would have taken Roy. The fact is that they were both undefeated at the same time, and that was a fight people were clamoring for, and it just didn't happen. It's almost a little bit like the Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis fight that just never happened. I wish that. Man, yeah, that would have been a hell of a fight.
I tell you, one of the I'm gonna go. If God operates this way, I'm gonna watch all the fights that never happened. God, can you just show me the fight? I'm gonna sit on some cloud and watch all the fights that didn't happen. But I always wanted to see Trinidad and Ike Corte. I always wanted to see that, and God, just show me what that would have been. Just show me.
I would have taken Felix. I would have taken Trinidad in that fight.
Probably, because but I needed to see it.
I did too much of the high guard, jab. He had the hell of a right hand, but Felix Trinidad, he came across methodical. You knew what you was getting with that left hook. He was fundamentally sound, and so was Ike. But Ike spent too much time on defense, man.
Yeah, I just the trouble that Winky gave him, and I know that's a different stance, and Winky's a little bit of a bigger guy. Winky jabbed his face off.
That was one of the most surprising fights to me.
It was because I took.
He beat him so easily, though. It's not just that he beat him.
Right,
he beat him like he didn't belong in the same ring with him.
Right, every round was like the same round. Every round was just the same.
Yeah, he did for real.
You know what? People used to tease me about this because I have my haircut theory. I have my haircut theory, and I'm telling you, it's a sound. It's pretty sound. It's a pretty sound thing. Look, the guy with the worst cut, and I mean when it's visibly unattended to, you're probably not gonna have a good night. And I swear to God, it's a sound. Look, I used to talk about this. Now, look, I wouldn't say bet your money on this. I'm just telling you that all of the fights I've seen, that there's an outstanding, terrible haircut, that guy usually loses. And remember, Tito came in with the hot combed high top.
Get a hot cold joint.
Yo,
Kid and play.
I told my man, I said, yo, Tito's gonna have a rough night tonight. I'm telling you, you can't come in there with a hot comb hot top and think you're gonna do well tonight. It's not gonna work. And he got his face jabbed off that night, man. Jabbed off.
TJ Walker special going on.
That was bad news, man. That was bad news. But yeah, bro.
Got a perm, bro. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he got battered in that fight, man.
I knew. That's why I'm thinking Corte may have been able to pull something off. Corte used to fade though, and I think Tito would have got up because Tito used to run marathons for no reason. Yep. Tito would have caught up to him late, but I would have loved to see. I just wanted to see. And hats off to Oscar because he fought them both. They didn't want to fight each other because they didn't want to miss out on the De La Hoya sweepstakes, and Oscar fought them both anyway. So, something that Canelo would not do. This is where we got to big up Oscar in that way, man.
Another boxer that was a good boxer. Another boxer who was a good boxer who fought Tito was Maurice Blocker up from your area. Yeah. Another dude that jab had that powerful right hand. He iced him. That's how he became the fighter on the scene from beating Maurice Blocker.
Yeah. Like him, Simon Brown, bro. Yeah, Simon Brown, and then my man Terry Norris was in that mix. I was a big Terry Norris guy.
Terry Norris, bro. That Julian Jackson was that fight, bro. Woo!
If Terry had a chin, he would have been, man, he'd have been something, man.
You know what? So you say that about Terry Norris, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
This is what I say about Johnny Tapia. If he had power.
Oh, yeah.
If Johnny Tapia had power, he'd have been a real.
That's another dude who fought anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a problem already, but I mean, if he had power.
Look, guys like that don't get enough, their name doesn't get sung enough because they give us what we want. They give us what we want, man.
That Danny Romero fight, bro, that was supposed to be bigger. Johnny just iced him so well in that fight. Easily. He made it look easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Go rest in peace to him too, man. Vito Loca. That's crazy, man. I swear. Well, I'm gonna get off here, guys. I gotta fix these kids some dinner because if I wait long enough, they're gonna be begging me to try to go get Chipotle, and that's like $50 for 3 people now. I don't know what the hell's going on with Chipotle.
All these spots now, man.
We're going on to hour 23 anyway, so we need to get down.
Look, fast food is not cheap anymore. There's not a single.
Cats get paid $20 an hour out in California. You wonder why you got a $12 Big Mac? Get out of here with that.
That's nuts, man. So
if I don't, an hour for a fast food joint.
Yeah, if I don't want to have to spend $50 going somewhere, I better make some damn dinner for these people.
All right. Man.
Let me know if we end up breaking down and watching this thing. Let me know if you guys go on Sunday or Monday to talk about it because something tells me I gotta.
If Munguia gets him, we might have to do.
Munguia gets him.
If that happens, I absolutely have to. But then I'm gonna be really salty if I miss that. If I have to see that on replay, I'm gonna be mad, man.
Hey, I'll shoot you. I'll be watching at my cousin.
See now you just made me buy it. See, now you just made me buy it.
No, I was gonna say I'll shoot you a text if you need to tune in. If it's not, I'll be like, yo, just skip it.
Yeah, but Munguia knocks him out, bro. This is just a no-brainer. I mean,
imagine missing that live. Like if I miss that live, I'm not gonna be able to know what to do with myself if I don't see that live. If that happens and he knocks him out, I'm gonna be beside myself, man.
Bro.
Call your partners, come to bring $10, $15 and pitch in.
I might have to throw some texts out tonight, man, because I don't want to miss just the prospect of that. I would be because that's how stuff always happens, man. When you don't watch, that's when
something crazy happened. Like the people who missed 2 weeks ago with
just don't blame me if it's a dud.
I'd be like, you know what? Now you got to at least come through and make them beans again or something. You owe me something if I gotta do something, man.
I can send you the recipe in the meantime.
See, I might mess this up. I'm gonna wait till there's another game. Y'all can come through and stay again, and then I'm gonna pay attention to the craftsmanship. I need to see how it goes down. I don't trust my ability.
It was too busy that day, man. You had too many
Uh,
people.
yeah, well, I've slowed down a little bit. I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep myself under control, man. But look, it's always a pleasure. Seriously, man. I love talking to actual, for real boxing junkies like myself. So
Yeah,
anytime y'all got some room for a brother, I'm down to come here and shoot a
bet.
fat with y'all on this stuff because I got a problem. I have to watch boxing. I can't
Thanks
control
for
it.
joining us, man. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
needed.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a
All
good
right,
evening,
bro.
man. I'll probably be hitting y'all up when I get those twitches on Saturday.
All right.
All right, bet.
All right,
Take
y'all.
it easy,
All right,
Paul.
take care.
All
All
right,
right, cool.
all right. Looks like Paul's gonna be out of here. So I guess on that end, I guess we'll have to be out of here as well. Everything's over. We went from boxing to the NBA, back to boxing, extended it. Bro, it's fight week anyway. This is what we probably would have done if everything didn't kind of fall on us. But hey, there's NBA going on. We had to get some of that in there. I'll try if he's biased. This extended version of the Sports Bag Bros podcast on a Thursday fight weekend between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia and Oscar De La Hoya. It's coming up. We may be back on Saturday night, depending on what happens, but we certainly will be back on Monday, and we will touch on the review of the fight, giving you all the good you've always gotten anyhow. Until next time.
Peace.